Hey guys, how's it going and thanks for coming. I'm Nick, and in this video we're going over how much car can you afford. So if you're getting a new car or even thinking of getting a new car, maybe it blew up, maybe a tire fell off, or you're just straight up bored of your old one, we're going over a method that could definitely help you choose what you can afford in the automobile sector. Especially if you're thinking of buying versus leasing. Watch out for those tricks. We're going to be talking a couple of things about that as well. So number one, I'm big with cash flow. That's how I was able to grow 6 figures fairly young, and that's the method that I want to go over. And two, this is kind of the first time I'm using a whiteboard like this, so we'll see how it goes. Word of caution, I'm a lefty, so you might not be able to read it. So let me know if that actually helps you, or it simply doesn't, and tell me to just throw this thing out. So people are living paycheck to paycheck. They have no money in their bank accounts. Hopefully that's not you, but if it is, that's why we're going over my cash flow method, because I think this could help a lot more people. Well, it's not like car companies help you at all while buying cars, so hopefully this will. All right, so let's try this out. So let's say they're saying you could get a car for $450. Hopefully you could see that. Some people might say that's good, some people might say that's bad. Well, first of all, it doesn't even touch on what you even make. So it's completely relative to you personally. So one person could be making this is probably coming out horrible, and another person could be making $100,000 a year. These are two completely separate people for the same car payment. So you can't just look at the car payment. The other thing, ironically and unfortunately, is you could be making 30 or 100, but each of those people could be broke at the same time, which is why we're going over cash flow. So we're talking income versus expenses, all right? So bam, I already wrote it for you. So simple second grade math, which is how we hopefully could do this on our own. So income, let's say you make $2,000 per month. We got to look at it on a per month basis. Let's say your expenses are $1,500. So your cash flow is $500. That's how you calculate it, and that's the number you got to focus on. So unfortunately, everyone's looking at the payment without comparing it to your actual cash flow. That's what we have to start doing. By the way, when you see like a payment like that on a commercial, usually there's like some small little words over there saying what you actually have to do to get that. It usually relates to giving up your right arm or your firstborn to get that payment. So the next thing you have to focus on as well is the depreciation of the car. So let me try to draw a depreciation chart. It's not going to be exact. All right, so hopefully you could kind of see this, but simple idea is this is the price of the car and this is the time. So usually maybe the first, let's put a dotted line here, maybe the first 1 to 3 years is usually where it depreciates the most. So if you get a used car, obviously that's going to help you on the price, but at the same time what you do want to do is get a car that is usually in this area. It usually depreciated the most already, and it's kind of evening out. So I've been talking to a lot of people, they're just like leasing new cars, like 2020 new cars, top dollar for it, and that's it. Obviously the newer the car, the higher the price of the car itself, but also of the payment. So just because I'm a cash flow guy, I personally, for a normal person, you know, there might be circumstances if you have a business, some write-offs or whatever, but for a normal person, I cannot recommend a lease because that is a constant car payment. We're already living paycheck to paycheck with nothing in our bank accounts. So normally a lease is with a newer car, which would mean a larger payment. Not always, but there is a consistent car payment. And going back to our cash flow, if you have none, so let's say your expenses are $2,500, that's kind of messy, but the idea is if you're negative, I'm sorry, you can't get a new car because you're already losing money if you're getting more of a car, you're going to lose even more money. If you could read this and understand it, let me know in the comments, because this is my first time. It's probably really messy. I'm trying my best. But the idea is, since we're all, or most of us are living paycheck to paycheck, you're always going to have a car payment. When you have a car loan or pay it off completely on cash, then you don't have to worry about a payment, and that helps your cash flow. So of course, if we are having cash flow problems, two things you could do is increase your income or decrease your expenses. The best way would be to do both, so you have a larger gap in the middle, which is your cash per month. So now that we know what cash flow is, how much of that can you use for your new car payment? Now you could tweak this. This is kind of like just a general idea just to get you thinking. So for the general idea, let's just throw a number of $500 per month. I know everyone's not there. Some people have more, so let's just have a middle, but this is just to get the concept across from you. So let's say you have an extra $500 a month. You're not gonna get a $500 car payment because there would be nothing after that. So you would want a certain percentage of your cash flow. So for example, if you want to put quarter of your cash flow toward your new car, a quarter toward savings, a quarter toward you could enjoy it a little, and then the last quarter, if you have any debt, pay that debt off. I would definitely not recommend having more than half of your cash flow toward a car payment. So for this example, having $250 or more, I think that's a lot, because that's most of your cash flow. So your expenses in your cash flow would already include your like rent payment or mortgage payment, your food, your gas, your monthly expenses. Now I do want to have a little bonus tip as well, because I know this happens a lot and I want to put it out there. So let's say you find a car payment for $250. Sometimes at the car dealership, they'll increase this, maybe for a newer model or more features or anything like that, to $300. So they're going to tell you, look, it's only an increase of $50, and in your mind, it doesn't seem like a lot because $50 really isn't backbreaking. The problem is that's per month. So that would be an extra several $100s a year. So don't fall for that. That's why you have to compare it to your cash flow. If it's an increase of $50, don't only think it's only $50. That's every single month, and you're going to possibly regret it because it's going to catch up with you. And to just put another thorn in your side, insurance. So when you have a car payment of, let's say, $250, you're not only going to be paying $250, are you? You have insurance as well. So one thing to go about that is, if you have a car that you are thinking of, you could call up your insurance company, give them like the VIN number, and they'll actually tell you an estimate, if not the actual, of what you'd be paying for your insurance for the car. And you got that right. You would want to factor that back into your cash flow. So at the end of the day, I would try to minimize my car payment as much as possible, if not completely eliminate it. Currently, I have no car payment, and you're able to save, pay off debt, or do whatever you wish with that extra money. Wouldn't you want that? Plus, the car is just to get from point A to point B. If you're paying like $500 a month, which is the average, disgustingly enough, then you're simply not getting ahead, you're not saving any money, and you're not paying off any debt that we may have. And I'll leave you off with the last nugget. There's also that other method, if you heard it, is 20-4-10 method, kind of something to narrow yourself down to. So 20 just stands for 20% down. Definitely you have to put something down, because when you put more down, that lowers your payment. So this is the percent down. This is the term, also in years. Do not get it longer than 4 years. And this is 10% of your monthly income. So this is also good because it compares to your income, but I also like cash flow because it doesn't only compare to your income, it also compares to your expenses. So in my mind, a little bit of an updated version of this method, but hopefully that could help you out with your next car payment so you don't go broke driving a nice car out there. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Could you read my writing? That's all I want to know, and I'll see you in the next one.